All right, let's talk about something real for a second. You ever notice how some women just have that effect on men? Like there's something about them that keeps a guy completely hooked, thinking about them nonstop, craving their presence, their touch, their energy. It's like a spell has been cast. Rational. Because when you master these things, he won't just want you, he'll feel like he can't live without you. The power of anticipation, desire thrives in space. That's something most people don't realize. They assume that the more they give, the more available they make themselves, the more a man will want them. But the truth is, attraction isn't built through constant presence, it's built through anticipation. It's that electric feeling of almost getting what you want, but not quite. That tension, that uncertainty, that feeling of being right on the edge of something amazing. It's intoxicating.
It's intoxicating, right? That pull, that what if, keeps him thinking about you nonstop, even when you're not around.
Outfit you couldn't wait to wear, or a text from someone that made your stomach flip. What made it so thrilling? It wasn't the moment itself, it was the build-up, the waiting, the wondering, the imagining. And then, when the moment finally arrived, it felt even better than it would have if you had just gotten it instantly. That's how attraction works. And when it comes to making a man crave you, understanding the power of anticipation is the more predictable you are, the less exciting you become. That's not to say you should play games or be distant for the sake of it, but you do need to create a sense of excitement, of curiosity, of not quite knowing what's coming next. That's what keeps a guy engaged. That's what keeps him thinking about you when you're not around. One of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships is overgiving.
Because let's be honest, if you give everything away too soon, what's left to discover? The key is to let him peel back the layers slowly, keeping him intrigued and always wanting just a little bit more.
Let's talk about how you actually create anticipation in a way that feels authentic. One of the most powerful ways to do this is through delayed gratification. That means not always saying yes immediately, not always being the one to initiate plans, not responding to texts the second they come in. Not because you're trying to play a game, but because you're genuinely busy living your life. Men are naturally drawn to women who have their own thing going on. A woman who isn't just waiting around for a guy to text back. A woman who has her own passions, her own plans, her own excitement outside of him. When a man sees that you're fully engaged in your own life, it creates a sense of curiosity. He starts wondering, what is she up to? Who is she with? What's keeping her so busy? And that wondering, that's the magic. That's what keeps his mind on you. Because you're not handing him your attention on a silver platter. You're making him earn it. And when someone has to earn something, they value it so much more. Another powerful way to create anticipation is through small, intentional moments of intimacy. When you're with him, be fully present, make eye contact, laugh at his jokes, touch his arm lightly when you're talking, but then pull back, let there be space. End the date while things are still fun and exciting, not when they start to feel routine. A lot of women make the mistake of thinking that if a guy likes them, he should want to be with them all the time. And while that might seem romantic, it actually has the opposite effect. When someone is always available, when they're always around, their presence starts to feel expected rather than desired. This doesn't mean you should be distant or unresponsive. It doesn't mean you should manipulate him or make him feel insecure. What it does mean is that you should be mindful of how much access you're giving. It means you should pace things instead of rushing. It means you should let moments unfold naturally instead of forcing them. And perhaps most importantly, it means you should trust in your own value. Women who know their worth don't feel the need to overgive, to over-explain, to overcompensate. They don't try to convince a man to want them. They simply live their lives in a way that makes a man want to be a part of it. Think of the women you admire most, the ones who exude confidence and charm effortlessly. They don't chase, they don't cling, they don't beg for attention. They simply exist in their own magnetic energy, and in doing so, they draw people in without even trying. That's the energy you want to embody.
When you carry that kind of energy, it speaks louder than any words ever could. He doesn't just see your value, he feels it, and that's what makes you unforgettable.
Because nothing is more addictive than a woman who doesn't need to be chased but still leaves a trail worth following. Physical attraction might spark initial interest, but if you want to make a man crave you in a way that goes beyond fleeting desire, you have to tap into something deeper. Men might be visual creatures, but the thing that makes them stay, the thing that keeps them thinking about a woman long after she's left the room, is how she makes them feel intellectually and emotionally. Emotional connection is what turns physical desire into something deeper, more lusting, more addictive. And what makes a man feel emotionally connected? It's how you make him feel about himself when he's around you. If he feels understood, if he feels safe, if he feels like he can open up to you without judgment, if he feels like you see him in a way that other people don't, that's when he starts to form an attachment. That's when he starts to feel like he needs you in his life, not just wants you. This is why being a great listener is such an underrated skill. Most people listen just so they can respond. But if you listen in a way that makes a man feel truly heard, if you pay attention to the little things he says and bring them up later, if you show that you remember details about him that most people overlook, it creates an emotional imprint. And here's where the real power comes in. When a man starts associating you with feeling good, when he starts linking you to feeling seen, feeling understood, feeling mentally and emotionally stimulated, he won't be able to get enough of you. It's no longer just about physical attraction at that point. It's about something much deeper. The mistake most people make in relationships is that they try to be liked rather than being impactful. They try to be easygoing, agreeable, non-threatening, but real attraction isn't built on agreement. It's built on energy, depth, and the ability to create moments that feel unforgettable. If a man always knows exactly what you're going to say, if every conversation feels the same, if you never bring any contrast to the dynamic, he won't feel that emotional pull toward you. But when you bring something unexpected, whether it's humor, a unique perspective, a way of seeing the world that surprises him, it keeps him engaged. It makes him want to understand you more. It makes him invested in the connection because he starts to feel like you're different. And here's the most important part. Men don't just become addicted to women. They become addicted to the way a woman makes them feel. If you make him feel excited, if you make him feel alive, if you make him feel like his mind and heart are being engaged in a way that doesn't happen with anyone else, he'll be hooked. Because true addiction doesn't come from something that's easily available. It comes from something that feels rare, valuable, and irreplaceable. And when you understand how to connect with a man's mind and heart, not just his body, you become the one woman he can't stop thinking about. Sensory seduction, the art of leaving a mark attraction, isn't just about how you look, it's about how you make someone feel. And one of the most powerful ways to create an irresistible pull between you and a man is through sensory seduction. This is the art of making an impression that lingers, of engaging his senses in a way that makes you unforgettable. Because here's the thing, a man might be attracted to a woman's beauty, but what makes him crave her is the experience of being around her. Think about the moments in your life that stand out the most. Maybe it was a song that instantly took you back to a certain night. Maybe it was a scent that reminded you of someone you once loved. Maybe it was the way someone's touch sent a spark through your entire body. Those memories weren't just about what happened, they were about how they felt. They were about how your senses were engaged in a way that left a mark on you. That's what you want to create with a man. You want to be the woman who lingers in his mind long after you've left the room. You want to be the scent he catches in the air and instantly thinks of you, the voice that echoes in his mind at random moments, the touch he can still feel even when you're not around. That's what sensory seduction is all about. Let's start with the power of scent. This might seem like a small detail, but it's one of the most powerful tools of attraction. A signature scent can be intoxicating. It's why people remember the perfume their first love wore, or the way their favorite person smelt when they hugged them. Scent is linked to memory and emotion in a way that few other things are. If you have a fragrance that's uniquely you, something soft and inviting but not overpowering, it creates a subconscious connection in his mind. Every time he smells it, whether it's on you or somewhere else, it brings him back to you. And it's not just about perfume, it's about how your skin smells, how your hair carries the scent of your shampoo, how your presence leaves something behind, even after you walk away. This doesn't mean drenching yourself in fragrance, it means having a subtle, consistent scent that becomes part of your identity, something he'll notice, something he'll miss when it's gone. Now, let's talk about touch. Touch is one of the most powerful ways to create intimacy. But here's the secret. The most seductive touch isn't the obvious one, it's the barely there touch. It's the moment when your hand brushes against his without fully touching. It's the way you let your fingers linger just a second longer than expected when you hand him something. It's the light touch on his arm when you laugh at something he said. It's the small moments that feel almost accidental but send a shiver down his spine. Men don't just respond to touch, they crave the anticipation of touch. If you're constantly in his personal space, always hugging him, always making contact, it loses its effect. But if you create moments where he wants to be closer, where he notices every little interaction, that's when he starts paying attention. That's when he starts feeling the pull toward you in a way that's almost subconscious. And then there's the power of voice, the way you speak, the rhythm of your words, the warmth in your tone. It all matters. A voice can be calming, exciting, intriguing. It can create an emotional response before a man even realizes what's happening. If you rush through your words or speak in a monotone, it doesn't create an experience. But if you slow down, if you play with your tone, if you let your voice have a natural rhythm, it draws people.
A man might not remember every word you said, but he'll remember the way your voice made him feel. Calm, curious, captivated. That emotional imprint is what keeps echoing in his mind, long after you're gone. If this video made you stop and think, even just for a second, that's the power we're talking about. So if you're ready to unlock even more secrets to becoming the woman he can't stop thinking about, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming next.